Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Janice. I'm an interior designer here in Southern California. I'm so thankful that you are here. It's actually been quite a while since I filmed a video. I was traveling for a bit, but then also working on a lot of projects at the moment, so I've been quite busy. But I thought I would take some time to put together a frequently asked question video. These are questions that I typically get from clients and here on social media. If I didn't get to your question, please leave me a comment. I would love to answer or create a part 2 to that if you'd be interested. So let's get started. The first question is, where do I draw inspiration? And I love drawing inspiration from the less obvious when I'm not feeling so rushed. I'd like to open up a few magazines, go through some design books. My favorite is getting out, visiting a new city, traveling, going to museums, shops, anywhere where I can kind of start fueling my creativity is great for me. The next question I get is there such a thing as timeless modern? I would say yes. Modern design has already stood the test of time. It's a staple in an interior designer style book, and I think it's going to remain a very popular design style. The next question is, what do I do when faced with adversity? This is something I feel every entrepreneur and every person actually faces daily. There's always something that you have to learn, always deal with or figure out, learn the hard way on. And when this happens, I pray. I like to sit down, breathe, meditate, and pray and figure out my next course of action. I know that everyone faces, situations and deals with them differently, but for me, taking the time to sit and relax and think about the situation before taking any next step is what works best for me. The next question is, what is my favorite Sherwin-Williams warm white? And I would have to say Snowbound is one that I love. It is a very beautiful and neutral color, meaning that there isn't an obvious undertone, but I would highly suggest always testing out a paint in any area of the home that you're planning on painting. But that is a beautiful warm-toned white. I also do love the Greek Villa. It's a beautiful, slightly brighter white, but also, like I said, I would check that against, or check that on your wall, test it out to make sure, because I have found that Greek Villa does sometimes read a little bit yellow, but those two are a great paint color to try. Favorite paint brands. My favorite paint brands are actually Portola Paints. I really love their paints. If you don't have a paint deck from them, I would highly suggest to order one just to get your hands to physically see the paint. What they do is they actually paint their actual paint on little, they must be like 3x3 squares, and you can really get a feel for the color, but beautiful, beautiful colors. Another one is Benjamin Moore. I love their paint selections. I'm very picky on colors and undertones, and so I really, really love their color selections. I tend to kind of lean more towards them a lot. And then lastly, Dunn Edwards. I really love Dunn Edwards for their whites. They have a great variety of whites, and I find a lot of beautiful neutral tones there. How do I start designing a home? Where do I start? What's my process? This is a question I commonly get, and how I start my process is with a kickoff meeting. This is a pre-design meeting that I use to spend some time with my clients one-on-one. This meeting usually lasts between 2 to 4 hours, depending on the project size, but it really allows me to get my answers that I need for me to design. We go over aesthetic, we go over inspiration images, I ask a bunch of questions, lifestyle questions, design questions. What do they like? What do they not like? What are their must-haves, their wish lists? All of that we go through in that meeting. And I leave that meeting feeling very confident and comfortable to be able to begin their design. I start all of my projects with design boards, so putting all my inspirations in the different design boards that I'm going to be needing for every space, and that kind of just helps me focus in on the direction that I'm going. And the room that I love to start designing in a home is the kitchen, always the kitchen. I love starting with that as my focal point and then taking that style throughout the home. And the last question is, can you mix appliances? And I actually get this question a lot. And I really don't see an issue with mixing appliance brands as long as the overall color and design are very similar. For example, if you have a black appliance, you're not going to be mixing that with a white or a brass, or you want to kind of keep them consistent, keep the style consistent. And if you're doing panel ready, even better, because you're going to be covering up the fronts with your panel ready cabinet front. So yeah, I really don't see an issue. I mean, it really comes down to what you can afford and what your style is. But yes, you can definitely mix brands. I don't see a problem with that, and I haven't had any problems with that. So that was it. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer, please leave them in the comments. I would love to create a part 2 answering any more of your questions. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you so much.